On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Fear of Fear by Spiritbox. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal and we like to talk about it. And during the month of February, we like to talk about the ladies of heavy metal. Don't say it that way. Don't say it that way.
Okay, sorry.
You ladies. Creepy old man.
Yeah.
He's a member of the AARP now.
I am.
You get to you're officially a creepy old man.
I am. I mean, before I was just a creepy man.
Yeah, now you're a creepy old man.
Right, I'm officially old. You can put that in my title.
Yeah.
I feel like my title is just growing all the time.
That's what happens as you get older. Right. You accrue more titles, more epithets.
I'm leveling up.
You're leveling up. But yeah, anyway, during this month, we like to, it's Female February. February. We started late and we're going to go late, right. I guess, because I think what I thought was going to be the last, I thought there was one more Wednesday in January and than there was, when actually that last Wednesday was going to be February 1st anyway.
Right.
So that Ms. Moore album that we did should always have been, part of Female February instead. Sure. And I fucked the whole thing up because then we had an off week because you were, on vacation for your birthday. And I fucked the whole thing up, but we're just going to keep going. And we're maybe your computer blinked. It blinked. Yeah, the glowing RAM sticks blinked. That was concerning.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway,
we'll have an extra week talking about the girls.
Yes. I think an extra 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Because next Wednesday, I think it's not quite. Okay, it's not quite
right.
Yeah, it won't be March yet. Right. So we'll have one extra week, I guess. But we started late, but we've picked it up now.
Yes.
And we're talking about the newest Spiritbox EP, which came out a few months ago.
Right. There's 6 songs on it, so it's almost a full length.
It's close. I mean, it's only like 25 minutes long, though.
Sure, but there are albums out there, great albums out there that are that long.
That's true. And it's not like Eternal Blue was super long either. I think Eternal Blue was only like 45 minutes.
Right.
But this is still definitely an EP, I would say.
An EP.
Especially for a band that's doing like these song lengths where, I feel like 6 songs of this length is an EP. A 25-minute album is what I would expect from like a grindcore band,
right?
Where there are 45 songs.
45 songs, it's 25 minutes long.
That's
Scum.
Yeah, exactly.
Napalm Death. Yeah,
that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about Spiritbox later on. First, how are you?
I am fine and dandy. Thank you very much. Life is good.
Fine and dandy.
Fine and dandy.
Not just fine.
No.
But also dandy.
I'm leveling up. I told you.
You're leveling up.
I was fine when I was in my 40s, but now
you're fine and dandy.
I'm fine and dandy. And who knows what the next decade is going to be?
A fine and dandy old, creepy old man.
Yeah, fine and dandy, creepy old man.
There we go.
A biography by OJ.
You said that. You said. What I heard was biography.
A biography.
Biography.
I'm gonna write my biography.
My biography.
I'm gonna sit down to the writer.
Like the is like kind of silent.
Yeah.
It's like it's not completely silent. It's just a little clipped biography.
Biography.
Where you have a weird like a weird hiccup in the middle of the word. And also it's just I like pronouncing words just slightly wrong for no reason. Just
it's great.
Biography.
I do that on the air all the time.
Yeah.
I do that constantly. I got chewed out today because I was talking about Aerosmith's Pump, an album that came out in 1989. Well, I get chewed out and somebody said, "Hey, I was born in 1988. You make me sound like an old lady."
Oh my God.
You're not an old lady.
an old lady.
You're a viable young princess. You are.
But see, here's the thing, though, is it's like,
yeah,
like I'm not, I'm young. I'm still young, right? Gonna be 28 in a month. I'm still young,
right?
But what I was thinking about is like, there's definitely fucking 23-year-olds out there who are saying like, you were born in the 1900s,
right? Yeah,
like that's going to be a thing. People saying, "Oh, yes, yeah, my grandpa was born in the 1900s."
Right. And I referred to it an album that came out 24 years ago as being from Double Aught.
Good old double aught.
Back in Double Aught.
Yuck.
I was 26 back in Double Aught.
Yeah, that's I feel like that's going to be, it's a thing that's only going to get worse.
Oh yeah, certainly.
But well, I'm glad to hear that you're fine and dandy.
I am fine and dandy.
It's been a slightly weird week at work because we had a person move on to a new job, and so inherited some responsibilities. And so far, it hasn't been like that much work because some other responsibilities got taken away from me, which is great on one hand, and on the other hand, I have. Like I've had a couple things to do every afternoon after I'm done with like the logs that I still have to do. But I usually get them done rather quickly. And then for the last like hour and a half, 2 hours of the workday, I have nothing to do. And I feel incredibly useless. And like a little bored of just like, I feel like I could be doing something, but I don't have anything to do.
Right. And now I'm there too, because I was leaving at 3:30. That was the end of my day. Now I'm there till 4:30 because I don't get up quite as early.
Yeah. Because you don't have to.
Because I don't have to, because I just do tomorrow's news today.
Yeah. Tomorrow's news today. Which is the opposite of the way it usually goes.
Today's news tomorrow. Which is essentially how that is.
Yeah.
I'm doing today's news for tomorrow.
The way I've always heard it, yesterday's news today.
Tomorrow's news today. Is yesterday's news today?
The funny one of just like, it was yesterday's news, but we're doing it today.
When news breaks, we fix it.
It's like a quote from something. It's I don't know if it was The Day Today, which was a British TV program, or if it was like an Onion thing. But anyway,
where are you right now? We're the World Trade Center.
Turn on the television. Any channel will do. That show. There's so many like that. Like it boggles my mind that show only ran for like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
The actual TV show, it only ran for 6 episodes, and like it is pretty much universally considered like one of the best like British satire programs of like the early 2000s. It's been a slightly weird week at work. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna tell you that as much as I love our former coworker, she's wonderful. Been working with her off and on for the last 32 years. Yeah. She's a great. Now that she's gone, the stress level is down by about 500%.
Yeah, I have noticed that.
Yeah,
a little bit. It could be a thing.
Yeah, everything was a fire.
If she was stressed out, you would feel it.
Yeah. We got all this prod to do. It's like 4 spots.
Yeah,
we're okay.
We'll take care of it.
We got it.
But yeah, the thing that I was going to bring up is you made a suggestion to me because I have a new coffee making setup. I don't want to say I have a new coffee maker because it doesn't feel like
it's a
coffee maker. Yeah, I bought a pour over setup.
Yeah,
which involves the vessel, the cone, a scale, and a water heating device, a kettle.
Sure, a kettle. Which I got a kettle for Christmas from Maximus.
Oh.
Yeah.
What kind of kettle is it?
It's an electric kettle. It's awesome.
But
he's up really fast.
How's it?
It's this tall. It's got a handle on it.
Oh, is it like a
plug
big?
It into the wall.
It's like a big,
Yeah.
Mine's got a fancy little gooseneck because it's made for pouring into the coffee.
Oh.
No, actually in the kettle.
Yeah.
I have a decapitated goose.
Oh, well, no, you said it's made because you started off that sense. It's made for pouring into the coffee.
That's just that little Dakota-ism, I guess, of not saying pouring.
Yeah, pouring. Instead we say porn.
Yep, I'm pouring it in there.
I'm pouring it in there.
Oh yeah, I'm pouring it in there.
Yeah. You really poured it in?
In isolation.
Yeah.
It can sound weirdly Irish.
Sure. I'm pouring it in there.
I'm pouring it in there. Don't worry about it.
Oh, you're really pouring it in there.
Yeah, you betcha.
Oh, it's hardcore pouring it in there.
All right. I couldn't think of a joke quickly enough.
Let's move on.
But yeah, I got that stuff, and I'm now in search of like some decent coffee, and also probably a decent coffee grinder. And the problem with that is decent coffee grinders, at least decent coffee grinders, according to people who know what they're talking about and that I trust to know what they're talking about.
Some of those people are delusional. But anyway, I mean, an electric coffee grinder is fine. It doesn't detract from the flavor at all. If it's fresh ground coffee and an electric coffee, beans, put food, water, drink. It's fine. It's delicious.
I don't know.
It doesn't do anything different to the beans.
It does though.
Does it?
Because you're not going to get consistent, like the electric blade thing. You're not going to get like a consistent size.
You do.
I don't think you do.
That's what I use.
You think you do?
Well, I can see the ground coffee in front of me.
I'm going to trust the experts, okay?
They're delusional.
I don't think they are. I think they're people who are into a thing and know what they're talking about. And you just happen to not be super into the thing.
I mean, I love coffee, but you know, my thinking is it's like those people with the Stradivarius. It's like, you know, okay, one of these is a Stradivarius, one of these is a Yamaha. We're not going to tell you which is which. We want you to guess, and like 50% of the time they were wrong. I mean, really into it violinists are like, honestly, I can't tell. There really isn't much of a difference.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
This is I think that's the case. If you can be fucking obstinate about your phone, I can be obstinate about this.
Oh, no, you can. Dude, you can be obstinate. You are a grown-ass motherfucking man. You can be obstinate about anything you like. And I will be forced to agree with you because I ain't live here.
I guess.
You can do anything you want. As long as you're not harming yourself.
My problem is I have one of those electric coffee grinders.
Sure.
And I think like the thing is I think people are often tempted to grind their coffee incredibly, incredibly fine.
Yeah. That's a mistake people make.
That's espresso.
Right.
That's you don't want that
that's
for regular
espresso.
coffee. See, that's not wrong though, is a thing that I learned.
Espresso?
You can actually say it both ways. It's a language specific thing.
Right, because in English it would be express. Because espresso just means it's Italian for
It's not actually technically wrong to say espresso. Or espresso.
Espresso, right.
Yeah, it's not technically wrong, but people might look at you funny. But you can do it.
Like escargot.
I've never had espresso.
No.
And I'm not interested in it, mostly because I want to drink I want there to be a drink. The fact that it's this much liquid, I'm making a tiny little gesture with my hand right now. That doesn't appeal to me.
But you could just take and put, 10 shots of espresso in a cup.
Yeah, but then you're going to lose your fucking mind.
Right, sure. Wow.
You're going to have a heart attack.
I can feel all of my hairs.
And I'm dead.
And I died.
That feels like it would be a mistake.
I remember when I was in a band, we played at a coffee house, and they're like, hey, we don't really have money because we're a local coffee house, but we'll give you a free drink. We can do that. And I'm like, okay, I want that with 10 shots of espresso. And they're like, that's dumb, but okay, sure. And then they made it for me.
We made you a promise.
We made you a promise. And then they gave us, and we went up on stage and we had, okay, well, here's our set list. It's 50 minutes of a set list that we got through in like 30.
Yeah. Didn't realize we could play it that fast. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
Do what you want, man. Do what you want.
I am gonna
enjoy
do
yourself.
That. See, here's the thing: is when I do a thing, I like to have nice stuff. I don't need a lot of it, but I like the stuff that I do have to be nice.
And you're not wrong in that. Like I've been married a couple of times, and at least one of those women. I said life is too short for shitty beer or wine.
Yeah.
And I kind of apply that to a lot of things now. Like, I'm 50. Don't give me the goddamn cheap shit.
Yeah.
Give me
something decent.
Give me something. I want good flavor. I want good quality.
I started doing that almost immediately. Yeah. Like the moment I had my own place and a job, I was like, I'm going to get like decent stuff. Like the second I was out of college, I was like, I'm not drinking bottom shelf whiskey anymore.
Right. No.
I'm
good stuff.
Going to, like, from now on, it's at least like if it's a 750, it better cost at least like $25. At least.
Okay, at least, right? I mean, that's like, still kind of the bottom of the barrel.
That's still bottom of the Well, I mean, you can get like decent bourbon that in that size, like especially if it's on sale.
Right,
like
it's on sale.
Like Bullet or like Maker's Mark at a lot of local liquor stores.
It's rare to find it that cheap, but you can.
I think 25. See, here's the thing: is it's been a long time since I've bought whiskey at a liquor store, so I think I'm forgetting how much those actually cost.
I recommend that you go straight from here to buy liquor. You should go buy liquor right now.
No, I forgot how much they actually cost.
A good Maker's Mark is like $40. Like if you're getting,
I don't think it's that much.
If you're getting like the 750,
I don't think
35, 40.
35 sounds more right. I don't remember it because I drank a lot of Maker's Mark.
It's good stuff.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. But it's fairly quickly. It was just like, if I'm gonna get a thing, I want it to be decent. I don't want it to be the shittiest version of that thing.
Like you got me that Glenlivet. Was it 12?
Yeah, I think so.
That was fantastic.
It's good stuff.
Great.
Yeah, like I do that with most of the things that I get. Where it's like I don't need the most expensive thing. But I want something that's nice. I want something that's going to last me a while. Something that has good build quality.
Right.
Where it's like, I want to feel good about using it.
That liter of scotch lasted me like well over 20 minutes. And that's another thing I've learned. Not only should I get the good stuff, but use what you get. It used to be I'd buy something really nice with like a really nice cheese. Yeah. And then I put it in my fridge and then idiot me, I don't want to eat that cheese. It's too good. Yeah. And then eventually I'm throwing the fucking thing in the garbage.
I tend to not, food is kind of the one area that I don't really do that in because I know myself. Yeah. And I know I'm not going to use, if I get something good, I'm not going to use all of it. And I also don't know jack fuck about cooking, and so
you don't know shit about fuck.
I don't know shit about fuck when it comes to cooking. So that's an area where I could probably do with spending a bit more money and learning some new skills and treating myself a little bit better.
You know what I'm gonna have when I leave here today?
What are you gonna?
I'm gonna have some vine ripened tomatoes, which you don't like. That's true. But I'm also going to have some sharp cheddar, and I'm gonna have it in a nice fine olive oil with a little bit of vinaigrette and some herbs, and then I'm just gonna eat that.
And that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that.
No, you're not going to.
I threw some chicken in an air fryer tonight and it was a meal.
Chicken out of the air fryer is pretty damn good.
It's good. It was good.
Yeah,
but,
I actually did that the other night. Max was staying at my house. We ordered from what was it? The one pizza place that Shaq owns a bunch of now.
Domino's? No, not Domino's. Papa John's.
Yeah. So he ordered the spicy lemon buffalo chicken bites, and then I ordered a small 7-cheese pizza.
A small 7-cheese pizza.
Yes. Which, by the way, leftover pizza in the air fryer, fantastic. If you ever had that.
I always feel like the pizzas. I think it's because often when I get a pizza, I get a large.
Sure.
And because I want leftovers.
Right.
So I like leftover pizza, but the problem with the large,
you can't fit the slices in
the
here.
slices are too big to put in the air fryer.
Right. So if you get a small and you have leftover, those fit right in there and they come out like crispy and delicious.
That does sound like it'd be pretty good.
But he only ate like 4 of his chicken bites because he forgot he had a sore throat, and he let him sit on the couch all night. And then like the next day, after I came back from D&D.
Oh, wow.
They were on the couch. He's like, eat those. You should eat those, Dad. I'm like, they've been sitting out since yesterday. Come on. So I put them in the air fryer.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and they were delicious. And also, for the next several hours, I didn't have any commitments because, diarrhea.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
well,
yeah,
you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, I knew what I was getting. I was eating open air chicken bites.
Day old open air Papa John's shit. Honestly, it's Papa John's. I don't know if it was the fact that they were sitting out for a while.
Right. They come with the diarrhea feature.
Yeah.
From delivery.
I guess that's not the only thing I ever get from Papa John's is pizza.
Yeah.
And like garlic knots and stuff. So their pizza has definitely not given me diarrhea, but what it has given me is a desire to drink an immense amount of water afterwards because
there's some salt in there.
Jesus Christ, those are some salty pizzas. Why are those pizzas so salty?
I mean, it's flavor.
I guess. My throat
Just
is
thinking about it.
Like dry. I'm drying out.
I think the salt comes directly from Shaq.
Well, no, the salt. It's residual salt from Papa John after being ousted.
Right, because he was very salty about that.
Very, very salty and very greasy. Have you seen that interview?
Yeah,
that he did where he's taught with the quote of just like there will be a reckoning, and he also in that same interview talked about how he had eaten like 40 pizzas in the last 30 days or something like that, and all of the grease looked like it was just coming out of him.
Oh man,
he looked nasty. Which I guess is appropriate because it seems Papa John is a nasty man.
What's his name? Schnatterman?
Schnatter. I think it's just Schnatter.
Schnatter.
Schnatter. John Schnatter. That sounds like a South Park character. Yeah. John Schnatter.
Schnatter.
I'm John Schnatter. And I'm the CEO of Papa John's. And then I love the. I mean, it's part of the disclaimer at the, of like all celebrity impersonated poorly.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I love when they really commit to not even trying to do an impression of a known character's voice.
Well, like in the movie they did Team America.
Yeah. With Matt Damon.
the puppet came back looking so terrible
that they're just like, let's just have him sound so like
Matt Damon.
I'm Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. He didn't say I'm. He didn't say anything other than his name. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. And apparently Matt Damon thought it was fucking hilarious. Which I always love. I love when that happens.
Yeah.
When there's a thing where it's. I mean, I guess the joke wasn't really at Matt Damon's expense because no one has ever really claimed that Matt Damon is stupid.
No, never.
As like a joke, as a joke that they would Matt Damon, stupid guy.
Right.
No one ever says that.
No.
So it wasn't really at his expense. It was just like that fucking marionette looks terrible. Also, what is it like? Is that something I can't remember what it is about? There's There were several things that popped into my head all at once, and they were all kind of a big jumble.
Okay.
One of them was a hilarious letter written by the MPAA as they were reviewing the South Park movie, sent back to Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Oh, Bigger, Longer, Uncut. Okay.
I think that's the only South Park movie.
I feel like there was one after that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, sent back to train Matt about like changes that they would request, things that they would allow to leave in, that sort of thing. But because of the nature of that movie, mixed it, the things that they have to describe mixed in with the like very official sounding wording, it's fucking hilarious. That mixed with something I saw about the people talking about the puppet sex scene in fucking Team America.
Right.
How it's like so insanely graphic.
Have you never seen it?
No, I've seen it.
Okay.
But it, like I can't remember what people were saying about it, but it occurred to me as very funny. So I guess that story was nothing because I can't remember any of the details about it. So there was no point in me talking about it anyway. But if you haven't seen that scene from Team America,
if you haven't seen the whole movie is
the whole thing is great. But that scene in particular, it is incredibly graphic, but also
it's marionettes,
not technically porn.
No.
Team America didn't get an NC-17, did it?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I think it was R. I think it was an R rating.
And that's a miracle.
Right.
That's insane that Team America was just an R and not an NC-17.
But you know, I think I know why that is.
Why?
Because dicks fuck pussies. But sometimes dicks also fuck assholes.
The greatest moral lesson of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie is a fever dream. It's incredibly bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we were talking about.
I don't either.
Before any of that. So nope. I guess
let's talk about Spiritbox.
Yeah, sure. I guess we'll talk about Spiritbox now. So Spiritbox, if you don't know, is a Canadian metal band.
Vancouver.
From Vancouver.
Don't you know?
Oh, yeah. And yeah, they're from Vancouver, Canada, and British Columbia. And they've been around since 2017. Yeah. A couple EPs, and then their debut album. They were kind of, doing EPs, kind of figuring out their sound. And their first album, I think their first full length album was Eternal Blue. It didn't, it took until about 2021. And that sort of exploded. Like the stuff that they had put out up until that point, had gotten them a fair amount of attention from people who kind of knew Courtney and Mike from their previous project.
I wrestled a bear once.
The people were in the metalcore scene were already familiar with those tunes. Like, oh hey, Courtney LaPlante is doing vocals again. That's great.
Courtney Stringer.
She still goes professionally, still Courtney LaPlante, but they're making music again. And got a fair bit of attention. I remember seeing stuff, like back in 2017, 2018, seeing their name come up, but then I didn't see anything for a while. And then Eternal Blue came out, and we eventually talked about it. And I fucking love that album, and I love this band now.
Yep.
And so that album just kind of exploded and really sort of put them on the map, gained them a lot of notoriety. Made them very much a known quantity in like mainstream metal. And then last year they put out this EP, which is called Fear. And I would call it is officially, it's not just what I would call, this is a concept EP.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it feels like there's a concept here. I couldn't quite grasp it because I hadn't dug into like, okay, what are all the lyrics actually? other than, what I'm just picking up. I hadn't like read through any of them. So I was just like, what's the actual concept? Because there are lines that get repeated. There are sort of motifs that get repeated. And so the basic concept is that there is a person who becomes aware that they are essentially repeating their life over and over again.
Right.
And sort of going through various stages of eventually accepting that they, don't have a choice in the matter. And sort of, letting go of the anger and the fear that comes along with trying to change your life and constantly being met with the same result and eventually just sort of accepting things.
Right.
That's the basic concept of the album. And yeah. What do you think?
I really enjoyed this. I mean, this is very well produced, very well written. And I'm almost having a hard time believing that was all her singing, all her voice.
I mean, that's just how she do.
Damn.
She's just there are a couple backing vocals, but it's all, clean stuff from the guys in the band.
Right.
And yeah, she's just a ludicrously talented vocalist.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with this EP. I think this is really, really, really good. I've been listening to it. I think I've listened to a couple songs off of this album, probably cumulatively at least once a day for like the last month, something like that. Like not the whole thing every day, but like there are a couple songs that I've listened to many, many, many times. And I really, really like this EP.
Very emotional.
Fantastic. Yes. And
very emotional.
We all know that Marcus, the goblin that lives in my brain that loves sad music and emotional music, is very pleased when they hear some kind of depressing stuff. And this sort of fits in with that. There's an interesting kind of back and forth on this album between some of the heaviest music they've ever produced and some of the prettiest music they've ever produced. It kind of goes back and forth until you get to the last song, the last couple of songs that like the Void kind of brings both styles together, and then Ultraviolet is more on the beautiful end of things.
Right.
But by the way, the full band, Courtney LaPlante on vocals, Mike Stringer on guitars, Zev Rosenberg on drums, and Josh Gilbert on bass. This is their first recording with Josh Gilbert on bass. He was their touring bassist for a bit after their previous bassist departed the band. And he's now official member of the band.
Cool.
But I gotta say, I'm a fan of that back and forth. I kind of like, I always appreciate there are like, it's a very sort of classic metalcore sort of thing, from the mid 2000s on of having both in a single song, but, having screen vocals and some clean vocals in there as well. But I have always appreciated something about bands that like separate the two a little bit more of like, this song is just going to be fucking heavy and this song is going to be a little bit more emotional. Like there's something about that. Not that I don't like, bands that mix both styles of vocals into one song,
which they do here.
They do. Not as much, I would say, as they did on Eternal Blue. I think there was less of a sort of, for lack of a better term, segregation of styles, where it feels like they're a little bit more separated. I don't know. There's something about that's appealing for some reason to me. I can't explain why. This is just, I really like it. I don't know. I'm running out of ways to describe the ways in which I like it.
Yeah. The only thing I would say about this is I wish there was more songs on it. I wish there was more.
You wish it was an album.
I wish it was a full album.
Yeah. So do I. And I think, whatever they do next is probably going to be something like this, but a full length album.
Right.
I would expect. I certainly hope it ends up being something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to their style that I find is just very captivating. Something that I also appreciate here is I think Courtney showed off a little bit more range in her clean vocals than I think she did on Eternal Blue.
Yep.
Which is something that I always appreciate hearing. Like it's one of those things where there are some vocalists when they do clean vocals. It's something I noticed about like Ginger, which I haven't even checked to see if there's like a new Ginger album out.
They were on tour recently.
Yeah, I know that. Something that like I think
there's some problems back home.
Yeah,
so of course they're to
say the least. But something that always bugged me a little bit about Tatiana's vocals is that her clean vocals don't showcase a lot of range.
Right.
And I feel like she would be capable of doing something a little bit more, but they don't necessarily write music in a way that would allow her to show off more vocal range in her clean vocals. If she has it, maybe she doesn't. And it's one of those things that keeps me from liking, what is that band? Fucking Sleep Token.
Oh,
I don't care for I just don't care for that band very much.
Yeah,
because I feel like, and I haven't listened to their newest album. I tried. So I was like, okay, people like this. Why do they like it? And I listened to the album before their most recent, and the whole time I was just like, do something else. Do another thing with your voice. It felt like the vocalist had one trick.
Yeah,
it's a decent trick, but it felt like the only thing that he could do. And like he had like very little range in his clean vocals.
The new album is really good.
Okay.
I like it.
Maybe there's more to it. But the one that I listened to, it really bothered me that like the end of every other word he had to do. What's the actual like singing term for what people call like vocal runs, where at the end of
Massimo?
He does that a lot.
Is that what it's called, Massimo?
The album I listened to, he does that all the fucking time, and it really got on my nerves. It's just like, stop, just finish the word. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You're doing it too much. And it felt like he was compensating for a lack of range. I don't know. It bothered me. Maybe I need to give it another chance. Yeah. There's been plenty of bands and albums that I've listened to the first time and gone, I don't like this, and then have gone back too much later and gone, never mind.
Yeah,
I do actually.
Because there are aspects of that I would think would appeal to.
And
to
that's
you.
what I was thinking while I was listening to it. Everything but the vocals appealed to me, but the vocals are there all the fucking time. They never stop. So I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't hear past the vocals to the things I actually liked about it. I don't know if I actually disliked it that much, or if I have just built it up in my mind as a thing that I hate.
I recommend giving it another listen. Yeah. I mean, there's some context with me why I really enjoy their music.
I believe I recall what that context is, but there's
you know who you are.
but anyway, it's I couldn't bring myself to like it. But back to Spiritbox, a thing that I do thoroughly enjoy. Does this album? Did I already ask if this album slaps?
You didn't, but clearly,
yeah, it does. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Speaking of percentages, hey,
boy,
I did a segue.
A segue.
Yep, and we ruined it. I collected together 6 reviews and averaged out to about an 82.2.
Yeah.
There was one review in there, I think from Metal Storm, where the guy gave it like a 6.8 or something like that out of 10, which I felt was a bit low. And there was a review that I read a bit of from... Sorry. Don't kick my microphone stand.
My apologies.
You monster.
Fine and dandy monster.
Yeah. But there was one review I found that didn't have any numbers attached to it. But there was, I think it was, I don't remember the publication, but they were being like bizarrely negative about it. And
yeah.
I was just like really glib and flippantly negative about it. And I was like, what's wrong with you? I get everyone has different tastes, but you're like being an asshole about it. I
just sometimes in those cases, I have to imagine the reviewer like developed a crush on the member of the band, and now there's a restraining order. Hate their fucking music. Fuck those guys.
It was Josh. He had a crush on Josh.
Yep. The new bass player.
The new bass player. Everyone loves bass players. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's a well-known fact of rock music is that bass players get the most pussy and or dick.
You know what they call a bass player that just broke up with his girlfriend?
Available.
Homeless. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I think it was a back and forth between Sting and Stuart Copeland.
Okay.
They were doing that, and Sting said to Stuart after Stuart made that joke at him, he says, "Oh yeah, what has 3 legs and a cunt, a drum throne."
Well, I mean, we all know about we all. If people want to make jokes about bass players not having sex, they can't say it about Sting because we know Sting has sex.
Yes, for hours at a
for a very long time. That's the only bit of trivia I know about Sting. And honestly, I'm happy to keep it that way.
His real name is funny. Gordon Sumner.
Gordon. Okay.
There you go. You know that?
Now I know that. Mm-hmm. And I know that he likes to have tantric sex.
And you know what you throw your bass player if he's drowning, right? His amp.
There we go.
Sorry. All right, there you go. That's enough.
Well, also Lemmy was a bass player.
Well, yeah, that's true. He's not. I do a pretty good Lemmy impersonation.
This is a podcast. It's not going to be funny.
No, that makes it funnier because
do it. See, what he's doing is closing his eyes, laying his head back, and crossing his arms over his chest. He does this all the time. Whenever I mention a dead person, he's like, hey, I do a pretty good impression of that dead person. And he does the same thing. You bastard. What's your favorite song on this this EP?
On this ep? This concept ep? I think Too Close... Too
Close, Too Late.
Yeah.
I knew it because I have it written here as well.
Do you really? That's a great song.
It's a really good song. And I think I had to choose it. Like, I really love The Void as well. And I love Ultraviolet.
Yes.
I think I had to choose Too Close, Too Late because it feels like the linchpin of the entire EP.
Right. It's what holds it all together.
Because that, like, the chorus comes back several times throughout the album following, and I think actually the Too Close Too Late those words appear in the song preceding.
The name of the EP is actually in Too Close Too Late.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's in the first song too.
Is it?
Yeah. Like there's a lot of repeated phrases and elements and whatnot. Yeah, I think it's somewhere in Cellar Door, and then she says Too Close Too Late at some point during Jaded, I think. Mm-hmm. There's lots of stuff that tie all of these songs together, and I love that stuff. Yeah, I love it when that happens. I love when songs reference other songs, especially on the same album. And I love when songs reference other songs on previous albums, which is one thing I love about the Wonder Years, because they do that shit constantly.
Or songs reference songs that somebody else wrote and recorded on a different album.
Could be that, yeah.
Yeah, I like that too.
Songs with sequels, those are fun.
That is fun.
Synchronicity
2. Speaking of Sting.
Yeah. My favorite sequel to a song, the entire album.
Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2?
I was going to say Metropolis Part 2.
Metropolis Part 2. Yeah.
I really love that song. I love the whole EP.
I do, yeah.
That song in particular is really something special. So all that's left is to bestow a medal upon this EP like Maz Kanata to Chewbacca. Mm-hmm. What do you say?
I give this a gold.
Yeah, this is a gold. Yeah. I definitely agree. A gold medal for Fear of Fear by Spiritbox. Mm-hmm. So what do you want to listen to next week?
Next week, I had different things I was thinking about, and I actually took a request.
And
I'm like, that's a damn fine idea.
Okay.
An album from last year called Eye for an Eye, which I picked out the album, but it was the band Butcher Babies.
Okay.
Was the suggestion.
They've performed in this town before.
Yeah.
At the original bar.
And nightclub.
I couldn't remember the second part.
Right.
I didn't want to say grill because I knew that wasn't right.
They have no grill.
But yeah. Are you sure there isn't a grill somewhere in there?
There might be one out back.
A griddle?
Although, I don't think so.
Is a griddle a grill? Could you call a griddle a grill?
Maybe. A griddle is definitely electric, though, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have a gas-powered griddle.
But now if you have a girdle, that's also a griddle.
Then you have a problem.
Yeah, you probably...
That much heat shouldn't be that close to you.
Exactly.
So yeah, so what was the album?
Eye for an Eye.
Eye for an Eye by Butcher Babies. That'll be next week on the Bronze Medalist Podcast.
Next week on the Bronze Medalist Podcast.
Tune in then.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Villains, I don't remember.
Hall of Justice.
The Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
This has ruined any momentum we had going into the ending of the podcast. So thank you very much for listening to this episode. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it's called. Or subscribe to our feed on whatever service you're using to listen to us right now. So until you hear from us again, thank you very much for listening to an episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.